Let's get more analysis now from Lara Elborno. She's a Palestinian-American lawyer and activist speaking to us from Geneva. Lara, thank you so much for your time. Just talk us through the legal abilities of the ICC as it pertains to actually arresting a sitting prime minister.
So the ICC can't make arrests on its own. And as you've already mentioned, it relies on the cooperation of the state parties to the Rome Statute, of which there are 124 states, which are now obliged to comply, including the European Union, and arrest both Netanyahu and Gallant if either of them arrive in their territories. The big question, of course, is, are they going to comply? We've heard in the immediate aftermath of the announcement of this decision, some European states have already come out and said that they will enforce the arrest warrants if Netanyahu and Gallant come to their states. So this is a positive development. But it's important because the trial, of course, can't commence without their presence. And my feeling is that they'll probably just stay in Israel, or they will only travel to the states where they can assure that they will not be arrested, like the United States, which we know is very hostile to the ICC, has sanctioned its officials before, and probably will do so in this instance.
Lara, this may sound like a silly question, but they've been charged with war crimes and crimes against humanity. Legally, what is the difference between those two concepts?
Yeah, so in both cases, you're speaking about grave violations of international law, which Israel has been committing in Gaza in combination with this ongoing genocide. But essentially, war crimes take place during armed conflict, and they refer to breaches of international humanitarian law, whereas crimes against humanity can take place either in armed conflict or during peacetime. But really, they refer to crimes that are widespread and systematic in nature against civilian populations. In this case, as you mentioned, Israeli leaders Gallant and Netanyahu are accused of both the war crime of starvation and intentionally directing attacks against civilians, and the crimes against humanity of murder, persecution, and other inhumane acts by the court.
And there does seem to be strong evidence to corroborate both of those. Could that also then impact the ongoing genocide case brought by South Africa against Israel at the International Court of Justice?
So not directly. Both courts operate independently of one another, and the ICC in this case hasn't even brought forward the accusation of genocide against Netanyahu and Gallant or other Israeli leaders. But of course it should, and it should issue more arrest warrants, because this is not only a Netanyahu and Gallant problem. Israel's ongoing assault in Gaza is the responsibility of many more individuals. And in reality, Israel has committed many more crimes than the ones that the ICC has thus far announced. Israel's crimes against the Palestinian people for the last 76 years far exceed what the court has accused it of. And I think this is really important for us to insist on just the fragmented nature of justice in this moment, whether it be before the ICC or the ICJ. And that is that really we need to address the totality of Palestinian rights, which have been denied by Israel for 76 years in this ongoing Nakba. And that's first and foremost the denial of the right to self-determination of the Palestinian people, of which this genocide and all these war crimes and crimes against humanity are merely a symptom of. And that's really the issue at stake here. And if we don't apply international law to this core injustice to achieve Palestinian freedom, we will never see justice. So I really want to insist on that point.
And this could certainly be the first stepping stone to that. Lara Elborno, really good to get your analysis. Thank you so much for talking to us.